Hi my dear people, it's Daria Vasilyeva, passionate classical pianist, and today I would love to discuss with you the preparation for the concert day or the day before the concert. How much should you or should you not practice, how to calm yourself, how to help yourself concentrate, and etc. etc. Let's start with the most important thing in my opinion. It's your own understanding of your internal rhythm. So what I mean is, are you an early bird, or you love to practice at night and you feel more motivated and more energized in the afternoon, for example? How high is your energy level in general? Do you have a lot of energy normally? Are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? All of these things are very important to understand to be able to plan your practice in general and your practice before the concert or another important performance in the best way possible for you. Since you probably follow me for some time, maybe I'm gonna share my own story, my own schedule before important performance, and with this I will just try to give you an example of how your schedule might look like. I am such an early bird. Normally concerts are always late, depends on the country of course. For example, in Italy I once played at 9 p.m. and it was maybe one of the most challenging performances in my life, just because normally this time I prepare to go to bed. So it's why it's so difficult for me. So normally I always have much more energy in the morning, and in general I actually have quite a low level of energy, and I'm such an introvert. So for example, talking to people maybe a little bit too much would actually drain my energy, even though I love people and I love talking to them, but it's just how it works for me. So because of this, and because I know these peculiarities of my nature, of my nerve system, of my physical system, there are a few important rules that I created for myself in order to do my best at the performance. First is to avoid any emotional overstimulation before the concert, because otherwise I cannot sleep. I'm very sensitive in terms of sleep, so it's why I would not go to a concert, I would not go to a party the night before I have an important event, because most likely I would just be overstimulated mentally and emotionally, and I wouldn't be able to have a good quality sleep, which is the most important thing for your performance. Then I would also try to avoid meeting too many people, having too many lessons, just because of what I mentioned. But I'm an introvert, so if I talk to people, if I socialize too much, it also drains me, which I'm gonna avoid for my performance, right? Because of course we have to preserve our energy. For some people, I know it's the opposite. Some of my colleagues, they absolutely love chitty chat, and we would go on and talk to as many people as they want and party, and for them it would be fine when they go to sleep and nothing bothers them. And yeah, but just reality of life, we are all different, and it's why, let me emphasize it again, the most important is just to understand who you are and how your body and how your mental system works. Another thing, I always try to have the day of a concert, especially if it's a difficult concert or it's a very important performance, I would always try to have this day free of anything else, because I'm an early bird, so I would have my highest level of energy normally before like 1 p.m. and then it starts going down. So if I also put something there in the afternoon or in the morning, I will have very little of energy left for a concert. It's why I try to minimize any movements, any work or any social interactions before the concert to preserve the energy. If it's the opposite for you and your energy goes higher, the level of your energy goes higher somewhere in the afternoon, I guess for you it would be different, and maybe you could do some things in the morning that would not overstimulate you again, and you would be fine. But I'm not sure, because I'm just a crazy early bird. It's also very important to have a nutritious food. I would say the best is maybe a few hours before the concert, and then right before the concert sometimes I would take a little bit of chocolate. Also 1 hour before, I actually like to go somewhere to some nice place, because 1 hour before a concert it's usually when they kick you out of a performance venue or people start coming. So especially if you don't have another room to warm up, I would always just go to some nice coffee shop and I would just take some hot chocolate, not coffee, because again, I don't need to be overstimulated by something else. I will get overstimulated on the stage. The hot chocolate also gives me the feeling of calm, of stability, of warmness, of cozy comfort. So it's perfect to calm yourself, and I use it also as a ritual. I do it almost every single time I play a recital because it's a little anchor in my mind that I have hot chocolate, I relax, and then I have a good concert. So maybe you would find this idea of an anchor useful to create a ritual that would make you feel a bit more grounded and a bit more calm, relaxed, because it's crucial to feel relaxed just at least some time before a concert, because it's inevitable that you will feel anxious more or less. It depends on you and depends on your experience with stage, but you will feel a bit, at least a bit anxious before the stage. So a few hours before, you have to try to minimize it by creating some comfort for yourself. Just think about it. What could you do before the concert? What would make you feel better? The day of a concert, I also try to minimize any social media. I have a great app, it's called Opal, which allows me to block any apps I wish, and I actually use it every single day. I always block my social media from 6 a.m. It's when I might wake up, and until 12 p.m. So I have this window usually just to practice very mindfully. Again, because I'm an early bird, my level of focus and energy is the highest during this time. So it's when I put all of myself into practice, and when I also do some sport, and then I also can do some admin work which requires focus. So it's why I always turn on this app to block my social media, and I do the same in the evening. For the day of concert, I can block it for the whole day or until at least the end of the concert. After the concert, if I wish, I might go to social media and post something about the concert, but normally not before, especially if the concert is important. If I consider the concert not so challenging for me, I would not say not important, because of course all concerts are important, but some programs, some settings were just a bit less challenging than others. Then of course, if I have to, I will go, I will post something. The same with, for example, sending emails or doing some other admin work, which I'm always full of as a musician but doesn't have a manager. It's really important, but you just try to avoid social media. Again, not to overstimulate your brain and not to see anything but might potentially overstimulate your emotional state. For example, you see some bad news or you see some good news, which again would just lead to overstimulation, which we just try to avoid. I believe that's very crucial, just to stay as calm before a concert as possible to preserve your mental and physical energy. It's also why I never do concert vlogs, even though I see a lot of other musicians do it and I love to watch them. But if I focus on filming this, on filming that, how I start my day, how I practice, etc., it still drains me. I prefer to focus my energy to preserve it for the concert. And yeah, if I don't have a nice interesting video, it's fine for me. I better post something after the concert, but I would really try to rest, try to relax, preserve my energy just before a performance. If for some reason it's not possible for you to relax during this day, or you have to go somewhere, or you have to travel, which also happens very often for us musicians, but the day we perform, we also have to travel to a destination. Here is another app recommendation from me. It's called Brain FM. None of these apps are paying to me to advertise them, it's just my honest recommendation, because they have a specific certain type of music that somehow regulates your brain. I'm totally not into this from scientific perspective, but definitely the tracks that we have there, they definitely help me disconnect from the world. For example, when I fly somewhere or I'm in the train, and to concentrate on being here in the moment, on breathing, or whatever I need to do. Regarding the music, sometimes I really love to listen to Tchaikovsky's symphonies, especially the final of Symphony Number 5. It's probably my favorite symphony by Tchaikovsky. And I do this when I feel that I'm a bit tired. It doesn't matter if I got tired today or it was just a long, very difficult week and I just feel a little bit down. It's a different thing in comparison to just being calm, but still being a bit more elevated. I guess you know what I mean. And then you're calm, but you already lost your energy, and it's why you're calm. So when I have to recharge before the concert, I would listen to this music because it's power. it's destiny. It just gives me this boost of energy that I need to do my best at the stage. So maybe you can also think about some pieces that might recharge you when you need it. And last but not least, obviously, it's the practice. Because I have a low energy level, I usually avoid practicing too much. On the day of a concert, max is just 2 hours before, and I would never play fast or full speed or full power the day of a concert, but I find it very important to play the beginnings of all the pieces you're gonna perform in a full speed with full energy a few times. Just maybe 1 line, 2 lines, depends what your instrument is. Sometimes it's just a few measures, just to rehearse how you would feel when you're gonna perform. I find it very important, especially when you're a pianist and you have to try a new instrument. You have to try specific beginnings or some specific very difficult challenging spots. It's important to practice with a concert maybe 10 times in a row, just the beginning of the first piece, so you would really feel how you want to start your concert and also how you want to end it. Also, the day before depends on the program, but I would also not be too intensive with my practice. Maybe I would play full speed and full energy, but definitely not the whole program. Playing the whole program with full energy needs to be done at least 2 days before the concert. So the day before a concert, you try to take it a bit easier, especially if you have a lot of other things to do, studying or work. So again, you do not over-exercise, over-tire yourself. My opinion is that it's better just to clean it up. For example, for pianists, to play it without pedal, slow, with scores, to check all the spots that potentially might be difficult for you. When the day of a concert, you also practice more or less this way, but I would say already with pedal, a little bit more with a feeling, but still not full energy, and you just try the beginnings of the piece, especially the first one, with full energy. At the same time, especially if you have problems with performance anxiety, it's very important for you to try to play the whole program with full concert energy a few times before the concert, just during your practice, so you can also see how the pieces behave themselves and how you feel about it when you do this program in a specific concert order. Especially if you haven't played a lot of recitals before, I would really recommend you to just practice it this way, full concert program from the beginning to the end a few times, so you would also maybe reveal some weaknesses that you might have not noticed when you were playing the pieces separately. I guess that's it for today. So I really hope that some of my pieces of advice might be helpful to you, and of course I would appreciate if you share your own tips of how to practice or how to calm yourself just before the concert. And have a great next performance.